What's up, guys, and welcome back to Illusion Insider. Today we're counting down the world's 10 greatest magic tricks of all time and finally revealing how they were done. In this video, you are going to have your mind blown, so make sure you watch until the end. But first, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel for more incredible magic content. Alright, let's kick things off with number 10. You may remember this one from Britain's Got Talent. Jamie Raven blew everyone's mind by magically making a live goldfish appear in a glass of water after covering it with a handkerchief. The secret here is in the special handkerchief he used, which had a tiny hidden pocket sewn into it. Jamie had the goldfish concealed in his little pocket the whole time. When he covered the glass with the handkerchief, he simply let the goldfish drop out of the pocket and into the water below. But how did the goldfish stay alive in that tiny pocket without water? Well, it turns out goldfish can actually breathe regular air for short periods as long as their gills stay moist. Who knew? An incredibly visual trick that had the audience in absolute disbelief. The surprise of a fish just materializing out of nowhere is what makes this one so effective. Oh, David Blaine, the master of street magic and making the impossible look easy. For this stunt, he appeared to magically pass a cigarette straight through the middle of a solid coin in someone's hand. So how did he do it? The secret here is in the gimmicked coin he used, which had a small hole drilled through the center that could open and close. Blaine pushed the cigarette through this hole while pretending to just push it through the solid coin. Once the cigarette was through, he gave it a spin to close the hole again before handing the coin back to the unsuspecting spectator to examine, leaving them utterly baffled. David's calm and nonchalant performance is what really sells this one. With his emotional detachment and confident demeanor, you'd never suspect he was using a trick coin. You have to love Criss Angel and his crazy, over-the-top style of magic and illusions. This incredible stunt involved him appearing to literally vanish into thin air after levitating high above the desert floor. How did he pull off this seemingly impossible disappearance? Well, it was all a camera trick using green screens and editing. Criss was actually hoisted up into the air by a concealed wire rig while surrounded by a green screen. In post-production, they simply removed the green screen and Criss from the footage after a certain point, making it look like he had disappeared without a trace before dropping back to the ground. A combination of superb editing and coordination that really sells Criss Angel's illusions. This one's a classic from the one and only Harry Houdini himself. It's the old person trapped in a box while another person appears out of nowhere switcheroo illusion. Except Houdini and his wife did it with such precision and perfection, it's still regarded as one of the greatest tricks of all time. So how did they pull off that incredibly fast transformation? A lot of it comes down to Houdini's escape artist skills. While bound in the sack, he was able to quickly slip free of the restraints while being covered by the curtain. With his wife simultaneously rolling in through a trapdoor in the box, the two were able to pull off a seamless live switch before your very eyes. A timeless masterpiece of stage magic. Performing this classic illusion on stage, Houdini had a solid brick wall constructed right before the audience's eyes. He then proceeded to seemingly walk straight through it and appear on the other side. The secret was in having a small trap door built into the wall, along with some impeccable sleight of hand. Houdini first went behind a screen on one side, allowing one of his assistants to take his place. The fake Houdini stuck his arms through the trapdoor to make it look like he had passed through, calling out, "Here I am," while the real Houdini snuck around behind the audience. Houdini, known for his mastery of illusion and misdirection, has been captivating viewers of magic for decades. For this next illusion, we're hopping to modern times and brilliant stylings of Dirk Losander. In one of the most visually striking illusions you'll ever see, Dirk is able to make a full table just float in midair. He's even lighting candles and shifting the table around like it's hanging by invisible strings. Okay, while incredibly visual, this one's all about using smart, lightweight materials and thin supports to achieve the gravity-defying effect. The table itself is made of something akin to styrofoam, with nearly invisible wires adding to the levitation aspect. Those wires are then digitally removed, so it looks like the table is just suspended by magic. Let's take it to the streets for this next illusion. In this trick, David Blaine stops some random person, asking them to try and twist their arm a full 360 degrees, which is obviously impossible. But when Blaine tries it, his whole arm twists around in a complete circle. Tendons and bones and everything. It's enough to make you sick to your stomach if you didn't know the skilled way Blaine is accomplishing it. First, he strategically distracts the guy and shows him how he wants his hand placed on the floor. Also, his arm is hidden by the jacket, and everyone is too distracted by the conversation to notice anything unusual. Then, David pretends to twist it the opposite way. He even gets the guy to help him with the last 180 degrees to make it more believable. For this edge-of-your-seat illusion, we're bringing in the legendary duo of Penn and Teller. Two random audience members are brought on stage and asked to initial 2 bullets, which are then loaded into real guns. The 2 magicians stand on opposite sides of a pane of glass, bullets pointed at each other's mouths. In a feat that seems to defy life and death, they then fire the bullets straight at one another, shattering the glass and catching the opposing rounds in their mouths. No trick photography or camera tricks here, this is 100% real, but accomplished through some ingenious misdirection. Those bullet tips the audience members marked were secretly separated from the casings using sleight of hand. The magicians palmed the marked tips and loaded the guns with simply the hollow casings instead. That glass was shattered ahead of time, and the bullets they caught on their mouths were simply the marked tips loaded into their mouth guards beforehand. Still, bravo to Penn and Teller for conceiving and executing one of the most insane illusions of all time. For our next illusion, we're traveling to the brilliant mind of Xavier Mortimer and his stunning mid-air levitation act. To set the scene, Xavier is just casually reading a book in a chair, when out of nowhere, the chair is pulled from underneath him. But rather than crashing to the floor, Xavier remains suspended in the air, resting on an invisible platform of some kind. He then crosses his legs and lifts his feet up to prove there were no strings or supports involved. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Or is it? See, where this illusion is staggeringly visible, the reason behind it is pretty straightforward. Xavier is wearing a thin support under one of his legs that is digitally edited out of the final footage. That support has a weighted base that allows him to balance his entire body and make minor adjustments like lifting his feet. With some Hollywood editing magic, it looks like Xavier is just straight up defying the laws of gravity. And finally, one of the greatest magic tricks that stunned the world. Criss Angel's certifiably insane stunt where he appeared to avoid an inescapable death by having massive chains violently ripped from around his neck. How on earth did he survive this death-defying illusion? Well, it's all about strategic placement and misdirection. Criss carefully wrapped the heavy chains in a special way, secretly leaving a small space between the chains and his neck. So, while it looked like the chains were fully wrapped around his throat and being violently pulled from both ends, they were just loosely draped over his neck the entire time, before falling away harmlessly. The real magic was in Criss's dramatic breathing and total commitment to selling the danger and the intensity of the moment. He absolutely makes you believe he is staring death in the face as his assistants prepare to yank those chains from his body. Well, there you have it. 10 of the world's greatest magic tricks finally revealed. Let me know in the comments what other legendary tricks you'd like to see exposed. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe for more insane magic content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.